from me. So that's why I was able to kind of piece these puzzles together. Pieces of the puzzle together. Buckle up, you guys, because this is where it actually starts to hit the fan. Friends, like, you know, like suggested friends come up when you're looking through your following and you're going down to see like who requested you or who started following you. And then if you go down, it says like suggested friends. So I was looking through that just because I was like, oh, and like honestly some of my old friends sometimes pop up, so I follow them through there. So I was just looking on my main account and I see her name and then spams, and then there's like a couple random numbers.
So she called my dad. Next thing you know, my dad was coming to pick me up in a truck and I was gone. So I have a lot of siblings, and my other siblings were already with my dad, right? And my mom was trying to get them back, but like my dad was giving her a hard time. So my mother was just not aware that I went with my dad. She didn't know. So my dad basically told my auntie that he was going to give me back after like New Year's, and I already knew this was a lie. So break comes and goes, New Year passes, and at this point I'm supposed to be going back.
It was bubble gum, so I had to chew it.
Taste me how to duck, taste me how to duck.
Would be talking about how much they hate Ashley, how Ashley's such a hoe. Like, all the girls despised her. Sorry, her. And they kind of had a reason to, because we broke up so many relationships and everything. Well, the one night I'm having a sleepover with my friends. Well, Kate asked if she could come to the sleepover as if it wasn't obvious that she could come. Just a quick reminder, Kate was the one who I started the account with. So I was joking around with her and I was like, no, you can't come. So I wake up the next morning, right?
Back and like get back in my good gracious. Like I wasn't like reaching out like, please come back to the family. Please, please, please. No, it was like, can you watch your daughter? No? Okay. You don't want to be home? Okay, cool. And I let him go. But every time he came back, I allowed him to come back. Like, what the fuck? And of course, I was going to try to work it out. He was the father of my only child. He is the father of my only child. So, yeah. Back to the girl, though. So, we're talking back and forth. We realized
Kitana wins. Flawless victory.
So after that, my friends were like, oh, okay, like it's time to delete it. So I pretended that I did, and when they left, I started messaging him more. So we had been messaging that whole week, and one thing led to another. Next thing I knew, he was sneaking me out of my house at 2 a.m. And he was like 32, so he wasn't that old. Well, for the next month, we were going to restaurants that were like an hour away. Almost every weekend, he would rent out a hotel for us. Well, the one night his wife was supposed to be out with some friends. So he invited me over like for part two. Part two about how
two dozen roses in a vase with a teddy bear on it. I'm like, what's going on? The next time I get a gift, it's a dozen donuts. Just because. So these interactions continue to happen. And it's starting to get to the point where it's way more concerning than it's ever been. When I would see him out, he would be like, hi Kayla, say hello to me, try to start the conversation about his wife J-Lo, aka me. But then there was one night where I saw him and he was beeline walking. Pretty much
Must be the shit if I really claim you. Bust it open, bend over, put my back in it. He addicted like it got a little.
Or she thinks that maybe my brother got into a car accident and he probably died. So this is the interesting part. So my mom dialed the number and then she called him. And what he said, he came up to my door because of our dogs. Because someone complained about our dogs at the park that they were off the leash. It was a public school park, and my brother took the dogs.
coming from her bedroom. So I walk in, I see my boyfriend and her together, and then he starts saying that she drugged him. So I went on his phone, I see a bunch of old text messages between him and her, and them exchanging pictures. And then sis wants to start giving me an attitude, so I punched her in the face, and then I left and I don't talk to either of them. Story time about the girl who was weirdly obsessed with my best friend. So a little background information, I was 14 and in 9th grade, and I went to a private school, so there was only one class per grade. So my best friend and I were in class together, and we're gonna call her Bella.
Know what she was thinking, I know what I wanna see. Bust that pussy open, then I tell her bring it back.
Story time about the toxic boy that I almost started dating. So a little background information. Him and I both met on a set of a movie that we were in. Well, a few days into filming, he asked me out. So of course I said yes. And it was literally the most amazing first date ever. So he asked for a second date, and I said yes, of course. And the second date was terrible. He literally just tried to get in my pants the whole time. So then he asked me for a third date. And for some reason I said yes, hoping that it was not anything like the second date. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I leave and I go to his cousin's house, and his cousin kind of does the deed on me. After that, I leave because I really wasn't trying to do the nasty. So a few weeks later, my boyfriend texts me saying, I need to talk to you, da-da-da. And we're not together at this point, mind you. And he's like, hey, like, I just feel like you're really not being honest with me. Like, I want to get back together, but I feel like you're unfaithful. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? You literally cheat on me 24/7. So I give him my phone to go through it. I thought I deleted everything, but I didn't delete.
They're trying to be. They're trying to be. She wanted me.
So the fact that she even made an assumption about that, like, makes no sense to me, because I know I didn't sit there and be like, oh, you know, and told her about something like that, because no. So I'm sitting here crying and, like, telling Jay, like, I cannot let this slide. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I thought she was my friend. Like, you know? And so I start to text her, and I'm like, hey, like, can we call real quick? And then she's like, no, if it's about what happened in class, I don't even want to talk about it. Just stop texting me, da-da-da-da.
Never done that, ever. So he said that he had talked to Addie about it, right? And things were good for the next 2 months. Then they were forced to work together on a project. Like for part 2. Part 2 about why I made my boyfriend stop being friends with his girl best friend. So like I said, they had been forced to work together on a school project. At least that's what he told me. So I brushed it off because I was not about to seem like the jealous girlfriend. Well, the next day, him and I were supposed to go out to the movies. So I texted him right before we. So apparently he's jet skied all of his life, you know, he knew how to do this. Well, we go pretty far out from land because he knew the people and he didn't have to listen to any of the rules. He offered to let me drive it, but I did not want to because of the fact that he was going super fast and I did not want to do that shit. Well, listen to this. He flips us off the jet ski, right? And when he does that, all of a sudden it hits me. I am in the middle of the ocean. Like, there's sharks, there's other things, there's creepy things, mysterious things we don't even know about. I literally start crying, and he thinks it's—
Woman looked like a supermodel a few years ago, and she was really strange, and right off the bat, I could tell it was not going to go very well. She kept telling me I was predictable, everything I was saying, she could predict this, and she could predict what I was going to ask her next, or she could predict how the conversation was going to go, she could predict what I was going to order. So she's drinking like 2 bottles of champagne throughout this meal. She orders an appetizer, an entree. She's about to order 2 desserts because she couldn't decide on what she wanted to order.
You know this sound in the middle of the night, in the middle of
has basic fucking human empathy. I want him to not judge me for liking Taylor Swift and Harry Styles. Like, even though I do want a boyfriend, I'm not gonna lower my standards for some piece of shit man. I am unfortunately not settling until I find a man who fits all my categories. So yeah, this is our talk for today. So unfortunately, I am now ready for school and I have to go. Bye y'all.
One day after school.
Please don't think that this is okay, and please don't think that just because social media romanticizes fighting and arguing and all this stuff, it is not okay. It is not cute. It's not a good look to have. I just like telling stories, and that's just how my life is. Okay, let me play the clip. I'm sorry, y'all.
I said one of these girls. Oompa, doompa, doopity-doo. Get in the car. I have another puzzle for y'all. Got the dumb, and motherfucking dumber. Y'all the 3 dumb triplets.
And she was the type of girl that would talk shit on other girls to guys that they liked to get the guy's attention. So he told me that she said that, and I confronted her about it. She goes, I just don't think it was right you were doing that to him. Meanwhile, she was talking to this boy that she really liked, but fucking other people. We were not able to bounce back after that. Story time about how I actually got away with sneaking out. It was the summer before my junior year in high school. So my sister and my friend were sleeping at my house. Ambulance, his son leaves in the ambulance, they didn't go with him, and his dad's like, you're never allowed in this fucking house again. And then he asked me, did he take anything last night? And I'm like, he did dabs, but like, I didn't do anything because I don't do that stuff. So he goes over to where all of his dab stuff is and starts throwing the glass pieces in the garbage, making sure that he fucking breaks them all. And his mom comes over to me to comfort me because I'm literally like fucking crying because this kid almost died right next to me. And she's like, it's okay, sweetie, like this happens to him a lot. Hey, it's me. exact Uber driver every time. Toxic best friend story time. So I had an off and on friendship with this one girl. In my freshman year, we became friends again. And she had this boyfriend named Nicholas. And they literally fought 24/7. And every time she would fight, she would be like, can you please fix this for me? So she would have me add him on Snapchat, fix it, and then block him. And guys, this literally was happening like 5 times a week. And then after she asked me to do that the first few times, I realized she started going through my phone. So I told my best friend to just take me back to her house. When we got back, it was around 6 p.m. And my boyfriend tells me that he's just going to meet us at the airport like for part 3. Part 3 about how my boyfriend proposed to another girl right in front of me. I know this is late, but better late than never. So like I said, we left, I went back to her house, and my boyfriend has the audacity to text me, I'll just meet you guys at the airport. So my best friend's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go beat him up? Of course I said no, so I told her and her boyfriend to just go to the airport while I figured out what I was going to do, and to not say a word.
They trying to be. They trying to be. She wanted me.
Now that I'm out of high school, I'll never have to deal with that dumbass hoe again. I love you, Hobknockers. I decorated my room really cute for fall, by the way, and now I'm gonna go rot in it.
Get ready with me as I tell how a girl bullied me because I was new at school. Because I couldn't finish my high school at my own school, I had to go to another school after 3 years. The first few weeks were very hard because everyone already made their friends. I wasn't the only new girl because there also was a girl transferring from another class to my new class.
Because she never got caught. And I was like, okay, well, if she used makeup, my mom's gonna find out because she's not dumb. Well, apparently her older sister burnt herself with a curling iron. Yes, literally burnt herself. But she ended up getting away with it. So fast forward, I get home at around 3 o'clock and I sneak in through the back door so that way my grandma won't see that I came in the house, because she literally would have made me sit in the living room until my mom got home. So I go upstairs and I burn myself with a curling iron, which is not fun. Like for part 3. Part 3 about how...
And that we sent paid actors to her door. The cops were paid actors. We were paid actors. And that we sent paid actors to her door to harass her. The whole time, she told us that we were harassing her and we needed to leave her alone. She told the cops that we were harassing her. We needed to leave her alone. Really, she was just mentally ill, which we understand, but also we were being harassed, so it was a lot. Here is a clip of one of the last times how violent she got with ringing our doorbell.
This about you, and I was kind of just writing off the X part. I was like, well, that makes sense. Sure, fine. That conversation led us to start talking about religion and how we are both Christians. And that after his battle with cancer, he made a promise to God that he would not have sex before marriage. At this point, I'm a 15-year-old virgin who's already dating someone older than me. I was very moldable. So like whatever he said went, and he said no sex till marriage. If anything, I just felt less pressured. So I was all for it. My mom told me,
I mean, you don't have to play, but if you don't play, you'll get eliminated, so let's go. I hope the theme is something fabulous, something glamorous. I love wearing cute outfits. The theme is late for school. You all have 4 minutes to complete your outfit. If you don't finish your outfit in the given time, you'll be eliminated. And if you receive less than 3 stars, you'll be eliminated. Ready? Begin! What says being late more than I overslept my alarm and have to go to school in my pajamas?
It say yes, but I've never went on a date before. I don't know what to wear. I'll update you guys on Wednesday, as that is the day we will be going out. I don't know what we are gonna be doing, but I'll update you all.
Guys, my friend's crush likes me, and I don't know what to do. So she's liked this guy since last year, and she's always telling me about how he's making eye contact with her, and how she's always seeing him in the halls. But they haven't really spoken one-on-one.
Nothing I can do for you. Okay, so I ended up going back downstairs, and then I heard her talking super loudly right close to my mom's room. At this point, it's like 3 a.m. She has to get up for work in about 2 hours, and she's sitting there talking super loudly on the phone, and I snapped. So I go to the room where she's at, right by my mom's room, and I'm like, hey, listen, you can be upset, that's totally okay, but you cannot sit here, be loud on the phone when my mom is trying to sleep after so much she does for us. She ends up refusing, and guess who was there? Leo. So because we were doing this theater show together, we were kind of forced to be together for about a few times a week, and one night he texted me and we FaceTimed. And he opened up to me and told me that he was talking to Jake the whole time. So we both pulled out our phones, and I told him I was also talking to him. And we were getting sent the same boxer pictures. We were getting sent the same paragraphs. Like,
I keep it PG for TikTok. But part 2 of the setup with my daughter's dad in the hotel. When we made it in the hallway, I was like, y'all keep talking about my stance and how I was standing. Yo, that's literally, y'all know I was about to swing. Like, y'all know, y'all knew I was about to swing. But I didn't initially. Like, he walked to the elevator and I followed him. And I'm like yelling at him, like, really, bro? Like, really, bro? Like, really, bro? And before I could even...
Conversation. I had told him that when I took my ring in to get it fixed, I also got it appraised. And his face immediately changed after that, but he wasn't saying anything. He was like, oh, okay, how did that go? So at this point, I was tired of beating around the bush, and I was like, why wouldn't you just tell me if we were having money troubles? And he was like, what do you mean? We're not having any money troubles. I'm fine. One thing about my husband is that he is very wealthy. And he takes pride in the fact that he is very wealthy. So obviously, me right there kind of questioning his...
Nothing behind his eyes. Completely straight face. Mouth even like kind of like slightly open. Like he was not there. Walked directly past me. Didn't even look in my direction. At this point is where it starts to get really bad. My stalker unalived someone, part 3. So after this, I do my very best at all costs to avoid this man. Now I'm freaked the fuck out.
That's literally what happened. Bro would not be talking to me if I literally cheated on him on video. Next would probably be like my junior and senior year when everyone thought that me and my guy best friend were like hooking up while I was in a relationship. First of all, that is so crazy and it created so many issues for me that literally should not have been issues. I hate how people cannot have platonic relationships with the opposite gender because literally he was like my ride or die. Like he went through thick and thin with me. Of course, I'm gonna be his best friend and only his friend. Also, there's a rumor that I lost my card freshman year of high school because...
And Kai didn't even have a bruise on him. Well, my mom, being the boss-ass bitch that she is, she told the school that if they went through with my suspension, she would call the news and tell them that my school was letting kids get away with bullying. Story time on when I caught my stepdad abusing my mom. So a little background information, men are trash, and I was 13 and in 7th grade. Well, it was my birthday and my mom took me to the shoe store to get some new shoes, and I saw this guy keep staring at my mother. So I pulled my mom aside and whispered to her, like, hey, there's some dude staring shopping before. So we had a plan that all of us would spend the night at my house and my mom would drive us to the mall at 4 in the morning. So fast forward, it's 4 in the morning and my friends and I are ready to go to the mall and my mom came with us, but we didn't stay with her the whole time. So as we were walking to the first store, we realized that there were these 3 guys behind us that have kind of been following us around since we got into the mall. But we just think it's a coincidence because, you know, it's Black Friday, the mall is packed. There are obviously going to be people going the same exact way as us. So we go into the first store, we get what we want to get, and the men didn't follow us in there. But as we're making our way to the next store, we realized that they're following...
I've never met my cousin before because he said the name and I was like, oh no, that's not her friend. I think you must have got this confused clearly because that's my cousin I've never met. He was like, wait, so you mean to tell me that's not your cousin that she had to pay for to get to New York and get back home because she went there with no money? And I was like... She lied about knowing my cousin. She lied about my friend. My cousin, she's never even been to New York. That's what was even so mad. I was like...
I sat here telling this guy, like, that's not me. And he's like, that's literally you. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's me, but it's not me. And he doesn't believe me. And I keep asking him, where did you get this photo? And he was like, oh, like some random exposing Snapchat account, like posted it. And so he sends me the out of the account and I go on the story and it's there. And I'm just feeling so lost at this point. Like, I don't know what to do because this photo is not me. But if I tell anyone that's not me, obviously they're not going to believe me unless they know me. The guy's, like, not wanting to get involved, so he just...
...to this boy that Layla liked. And that's literally why they're not friends anymore. Well, all of us in the friend group were friends, but I was Layla's best friend. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how my best friend made my whole school hate me. So like I said, we were all friends in the group, but I was Layla's best friend. So her and I would pretty much boss everybody else around. One day Layla tells one of our friends, Nova, to go and listen to what Ivy and her friends were talking about during lunch. Because Nova had friends who sat at the same lunch tables as them. Well, I guess Ivy was talking about how she was going to try to talk to every guy that Layla talked.
And she's like, I don't snap people. Yes, the fuck you do. I see you're active on Snapchat every 2 minutes and I know you snap your boyfriend. So then some time goes by. I'm leaving for a trip. I went to States for one of my projects and I see them walking and I beep the horn. It was just funny. And then she told everybody, because I was gone, I wasn't even there that week at school. She was like, she wanted my boyfriend's attention. She beeped at us when we were walking. The fuck? But whatever. I
Okay, I tried to apologize. Well, I left her undelivered on Snapchat. I was like, I'm not fucking answering you. You were talking. And she was telling everybody, like, I wanted her with. Some guy and some girl decided to get frisky in the parking lot in the morning. The girl who I thought was my friend started the rumor that it was me and some random guy. First of all, I'm late to school every day. I don't even get there early enough to be taking part in whatever was taking place. Secondly, the guy that she said I did it with had never even seen my car before. Like, what? So yeah, this was a real thing that I literally had to talk to teachers about and, like, find out who it was. Like, sorry to burst your bubble. It wasn't me. I know exactly who it was now, and I'm not the type to get frisky in the morning in a school parking lot. Like, sorry.
Really fucking shook me up. I've not been in trouble with the police since that day, thank God. Here's the makeup, all done by the way. I actually quite like how this has turned out. Have a lovely day.
This is a story time on how I caught my ex cheating on me using my own phone. Now, I want to preface this video by saying this man cheated on me with a fuckload of women, like 30 plus, right? Whether it was over my phone, over his phone, and I'm talking emotional cheating, physical cheating, wherever you are on the spectrum of cheating, he did it, okay? Other thing is, whenever I mention an ex...
So I'm like looking, it said this girl's in New York. So I'm like, we're in Philly. Like, where are you? That's like, where are you? And she's like, oh, I'm in college right now. She's like, she's from New York, but she wasn't in New York. She was somewhere in a different state. So this was like a long distance relationship. So, okay, boom, he not with you. But she knew about the whole situation because she was like, oh, are you feeling any better? I'm like, feeling better about what? She's like, you were in a car accident.
And so we go upstairs. I was like, you're not coming back in, like, with this state of frantic, manic. You're not. And I left the door open. She's sitting right there by the door. And I'm like, we'll go get your bag. It's already packed because it was the last night they were spending the night. Bring it down. We bring it. Go, right? And then she's like, calls her mom, and her mom's like, walk to the end of the driveway and we'll get you. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. This story time doesn't even grasp how loud, rude, disrespectful, like, she was to everyone. And we always put our friend groups together, so I knew a lot of the guys in my grade. Like, I could talk to them easily. And we were, like, talking about it because they all do track and baseball at the same time, and I do softball, and I wanted to kind of see what it was like to do both of them at the same time. Well, from the back of the room, her boyfriend shouted out, she's not in this class, he shouted out, would you be wearing shorts to track? And I was like, what? Yeah, like, and my cousin was like, stop right there, don't say another word. And I didn't understand what, like, the heck was going on. So he was like, he grabbed my notebook and he wrote, he just wants to see your ass, and handed it back to me and said,
when I walk in there, she says, I'm not gonna deal with this bitch, and walks out. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, babes. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's not talking about me. So then I get out the bathroom, I'm walking to my class, and she goes and says, she talking all this shit, but she not gonna do nothing. Y'all gonna have to go to part 2. Sorry.
The drama in myself. So I went up to him, I started flirting with him, and I was like, oh, you should break up with your girlfriend and date me instead. But then he was like, I thought you guys were best friends and I would never date you. Like, for part 3 about how I stole my best friend's boyfriend. So like I said, I went to the football game. She wasn't there because she had something else to do. I went up to him, I started flirting. I told him that he should break up with her and date me instead. And I also said that she was a bitch and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he was like, why would you say that about your best friend? And he was like, I would never
right now, like, fucking block him. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything. Like, what the fuck? So whatever, I end up blocking him. It's fine. Until he texts me one day. And he's like, hey, it's Jay. I think you blocked me on Snapchat, LOL. And him and I had talked a little bit in school, and I kind of started to like him. Well, fast forward, him and I ended up hooking up a few times. We were talking a lot, and he hadn't been texting Riley as much. Well, the one night while I was sleeping over at her house, my phone...
I have to quit! Like, what the actual fuck? I hate when dumbass people call me telling me dumbass shit. Not to mention, when I was going through one of the most toxic relationships of my entire life, like, fully being, like, traumatized, he stopped being friends with me because I wouldn't break up with him. As if it's, like, that fucking easy. And I don't know, I don't care if y'all come for me for this shit. The way I look at it is, I will be there for my friends, no matter if I fucking agree with it or if I don't. I'm not afraid to tell them if they're wrong, but even if I think they made a stupid decision, I will
password because we were best friends. And I checked on her Instagram, and she had her own account and that fake account and some other ones. So it was confirmed that it was her behind that account the whole time. So I confronted her, of course, and I was like, first of all, why are you catfishing me on Instagram? And why are you asking me for pictures? And she was just acting like it was no big deal. She was like, oh, like, girl, it was just a prank. Why are you taking it so seriously? It was just a joke. It was just a prank.
Okay. Close with her anymore. And like, I never went for him in the past because of her, but like, we kind of really don't talk anymore. I wasn't gonna do blush, but my face looked too flat. I had to do it. I low-key don't want to get effed over by a guy part 5,000 though, so like, hopefully he acts right. I feel so pretty. Low-key glowing. He better realize I'm bad. But I've been freaking bare bonesing this whole video with no jewelry on. Like, who am I? Anyways, guys.
Creepy dude, but he decides to tell me that he is a cop, or former cop in this case, and that he had an ex-wife that was also the same race, which is really creepy. Like, why do I need to know this unnecessary information? So after that interaction, I start to get a little distant and not rude, but to a point where I'm a little bit hostile, because I already told you I'm a minor and I don't want to talk to you anymore, and I just had enough of this creep always coming up to me and staring at me. And one day, this is another interaction that
and I'm like deciphering this note. I finally got the whole thing decoded, and it said, "Who are you and what exactly do you want from me? I'll be back in 30 minutes. We didn't really know what to do, so obviously we went to dinner. We were kind of expecting that when we got back there would be another one, and there was. Morse code note number 2. If you truly want me, call me. I no longer trust you." We obviously had no idea who this person was, so we weren't responding to the Morse code notes, but it basically became a series of...
This story is so complicated. I hope I'm telling it the right way. Let me know if you need a part 3. Get ready with me as I tell how a girl bullied me because I was new at school. Okay, so we were waiting for the train to go to the next activity, and all of a sudden, Peter got involved. I said, "Peter, thank you so much for getting involved. The entire time they're bullying me, you're silent. And the second I stand up for myself, you're gonna speak up?" I said, "Why? Peter can speak his opinion." Then the train arrived.
I was not disappointed in myself because I knew, like, I would be more disappointed in myself if I went in and I did my best and I made JV. Like, then it's like my best wasn't good enough to be on varsity. But I put my best out on the floor and I worked with what I did and I made JV. So, I'm sorry this video is so long. It was just a long story and I didn't feel like making part 2. Anyways, bye guys.
I Snapchat, and every time I would like point it out, he would get really defensive, be like, "Fine, we'll just unadd everyone." I never said that. Driving girls home alone without telling me. It was little things which like I low-key didn't give a fuck because we only dated for a week before college. Like, obviously it wasn't gonna last, but I would have let that shit go. It was just too much when I was struggling with college already to be dealing with that shit. And it's not like we had some year-long relationship, so I felt the need to like make it work. Like, we had been dating a month. Ended on amazing terms. We literally ended the fucking...
Ready? Trying to get with the guy that I liked. What the actual you know what. So, I bawled my eyes out for like 2 hours straight. And then I decide that I'm going to confront her. And she literally says to me, like, she has the audacity to say that she's been in love with him for so long, even before I had told her about him. Which is a lie, because as I told you guys earlier, she didn't know this man. Well, anyways, Jake ended up friend-zoning her, and she didn't even really apologize to me. She said sorry, but like, she didn't acknowledge the importance of the situation and how it made...
But if you are, please comment and let me know if I'm wrong. Like, please let me know, because I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. Here's the fit. It's fitting. Let me show you the shoes. If you're still here, I love you. Please have a good day. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Alright guys, get ready with me while I tell you all this. He quite often did not think before he spoke, and the way he spoke to me is not a way that you should speak to someone that you claim to love. Now, I've spoken about this before on here, but when I was in school, I had really bad acne, and around the age of 17 was kind of when it was at its worst, and it made me feel really, really insecure about myself. And I remember one day we're at his house and we're just watching a movie, and I'm having a particularly rough day with my skin. We're sitting there watching the movie and I'm kind of just touching my forehead.
The second I saw that account, I already knew something was wrong. Like, it looked so much like a fake account. It barely had any followers. All the pictures of the guy looked like they were off Pinterest. Like, it was a good looking guy, but you could tell those pictures are from the internet. and all the pictures were posted on the same day, you know? So I immediately knew it was a fake account. But I was also thinking, like, why would she catfish me? You know, that's just weird. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt. So I thought that I would play along at first and see if that's actually her or someone else. So the guy basically...
Class 2. And I planned on ignoring everybody and just keeping my headphones in. Well, one of his friends asked me if I was okay. Bad idea. The waterworks started and I started sobbing in class in front of everybody. I felt so bad for him. He just asked if I was okay. And guys, everybody was staring at me. It was so bad I had to be removed from class. Toxic best friend story time. And no, this is not the same one. I know I have bad choice in best friends. Do not come at me. So
this whole situation is the fact that, like, if she knows that, or if she thinks that I know that she stole my clothes, like, why would she still, like, want to be friends with me? Because I'm still in her private stories. Like, she's not mine. I took her off because, like, she doesn't know that, like, we're not friends because of what, you know, she knows. Like, I'm not 100% sure if she knows that I know, but I feel like she does, because why else wouldn't she want to hang out? And I just think that that's really weird. So what I'm going to do is, again, like, I'm going to try and go to her house and, like, secretly, like, try and take back my stuff, or, like, I'll, like, confront her about it. So let me know what I should do. Do you guys think I should confront her about taking my clothes or go to the house?
So a little background information. I was 14 and a freshman in high school, and we're going to call this girl Sophia. Sophia and I met whenever we were in 6th grade, and we were inseparable. And shortly after her and I had became best friends, my mom thought that it would be nice for us to go on vacation to Hawaii in 2 years. She also said that my brother and I would be able to bring one friend each. So I asked Sophia if she wanted to come to Hawaii in 2 years, and of course she said yes. Keep in mind, I was popular, Sophia was kind of lame, and I'm not even saying that just to be mean, but it's true.
So they go out together, come back. The next day, everything's a little bit quiet and awkward, and I was like, I thought we were all getting along, like, what happened? But apparently last night was really boring. That's what they said. I was like, okay, whatever. So we get home, we go to Country Thunder, I bring my boyfriend. I heard a rumor that in the porta potties, because they use porta potties because it's fucking disgusting, I heard a rumor that my boyfriend followed my cousin into the porta potty. So
a week prior, he was at my house, and I knew it was around that same time because he came to my house and went and got his tattoo down the street at our tattoo guy. And then he came back to show me the tattoo, gave me some money, hugged, kissed, did some things, and he went to sleep with some random girl in the hotel. So, okay, this video is getting long. Okay, anyway, so me and the girl talked for a while, and I told her, like, well, I'm going to set this man up. Like, I'm going to make him be present because you keep ignoring me. You're not ignoring her. So
I Uber to his apartment, and I knock on the door, and I hear some woman from inside say, "Don't worry, babe, I'll get it." So I hurry up and try to tie my coat because I had untied it thinking that my boyfriend was going to open the door. But no, why would my boyfriend open his own door to his own apartment that he lives alone in? So she opens the door and she's like, "Hi, what can I help you with?" And I'm like, "Oh, is this apartment blah, blah, blah?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, well, is Jimmy here?" And she was like, "Yeah." So she calls Jimmy over to the street. So we're walking down the street and we finally get to my neighbor's house. And we can see all the lights were on in my house. And my sister's been texting me the whole time, basically saying, "Oh, they're awake. I hear them. OMG, like, you better hurry up." And I'm texting her, like, "Get the dog in the room." Because he would have barked loud as hell if he saw us. And I forget if it was me or her, but one of us had to pee really bad and peed somewhere. So we're basically on our stomachs crawling back to my house through my yard. So that way none of the motion sensor lights come on. And one of them came on.
More from my past that I just have no idea that are on there. When I first made my social media accounts to promote my, I accidentally used my number that was connected to everything. So I think a lot of people who are connected to that number found those accounts easily. That's definitely something that I would have done differently. Like, obviously that number has changed now and I've learned from that, but yeah, wish I didn't do that.
Emergency. My mum calls my phone. As soon as she calls my phone, obviously I had to text in Polish because as long as it's in Polish, he can't see any of the messages come up or anything like that. Or even if he decides to go through my own phone, he can't see it. So I message her in Polish. She doesn't understand. My mum calls me. And as soon as she calls, I snatch the phone. I'm like, "Oh my God, babe, my mum's calling. It's an emergency. I need to speak to her." Gives me the phone. No qualms. I speak to my mum. I don't even speak to her about anything. My friend, who's Polish, in the house is looking at me like, "What is going on?" Because I'm just explaining to her over the phone what's happening. So my friend's looking at me like, "Oh, it's about to go down." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
He was just acting so different. Like he had like this shake in his voice. Like he just looked like a lot different, like scared, like kind of. And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, what is going on with this guy? Like, is he on coke or something? Like, I don't fucking know. But, like, the whole way there, he, like, wouldn't stop looking at me. He was like, oh my God, like, you're so beautiful. Like, I can't believe you're in my car right now. And I'm like, thank you.
Head because I didn't want him to see my acne. I was like, my boyfriend, this boy who I love and who claims to love me, thinks that my acne is ugly, so I must be ugly. One day, I remember it was a Sunday, and this is when I was working at Priceline. I didn't get my driver's license until after I left high school, whereas he had his driver's license and he had his own car. And on this particular day, my parents were not able to pick me up from work. And on Sundays, he would play baseball.
So we went over there, they were all super nice, but I hit things off with this kid who we're gonna call Ethan. We exchanged numbers. Well, when we got back to the dorm, I told Emma about Ethan, and she was like being super weird. She was like, ew, you shouldn't date him. He's really sus. I would have thought that she wished that she got with Ethan, but she hit it off with one of the guys from the same friend group. So Ethan and I end up dating, and Emma did not like that. Like for part 3. Part 2 about how my best friend set me up to get cheated on. So like I said, sooner or later, Ethan and I started dating. And
it just wasn't about a pusher at that point because, like, I knew she knew what I meant. But, like, I just didn't, like, say anything because I'm just like, oh, like, I guess you just didn't want to pay me back. So fast forward, when I found out that she was stealing from me was when I was on TikTok. But let's just go back a second. I just remembered this. During, like, the months that I found out that she was stealing from me, which we'll get into later, I was actually starting to notice some of my stuff missing. Like, I thought that I just misplaced it in the laundry because I, like, before, like, me and her had been friends, like, I also noticed some of my stuff missing.
She said, bitch, no the fuck, I'm dumping your ass and I'm leaving this place. So then I told her that she'd have to pay child support if she was gonna leave me because there's no way I'm raising a fucking child on my own with my own money. And she was like, no, please don't make me pay child support. I'm broke, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, maybe you should have thought about that before practically leaving me because I'm pregnant with your child. She literally got on her knees like a fucking dog and started barking and begging
her the whole relationship that we had, but you guys know what I mean. So I'm freaking out and I call him and then I hear her in the background talking to my dog. Now, obviously, I don't even want this girl in my apartment in general, so I'm like freaking out that she's trying to talk to my dog. So I'm yelling at him. I'm like, I want her out of the apartment. I'll call the police if you guys don't leave. Also, tell her to get away from my dog. So, you know, he says okay, hangs up the phone, and I call my neighbor and I tell her, call the police if she goes in my apartment again. And less than 2 minutes later, my friend calls the police because his girlfriend started breaking stuff in my apartment.
So a year before this all happened, I posted a picture on Instagram saying, add me on Snapchat if you want to be friends. Yes, I was that person. Anyway, so this really cute guy adds me on Snapchat. And after about 3 months talking, he said that he wants to meet me in person. And he didn't sound sus at all, so I was like, sure. So we met at this park that was like 30 minutes away. We met there around 6 o'clock, so when the sun was setting. And he was super nice. It was super romantic. Well, then we went to his house. We watched a movie and we did the nasty.
So I walk over there. Let me just tell you, this girl is a baddie, okay? She's the kind of girl you see in public and you like, whoa. I went up to her. I said, is that your boyfriend? She said, yes. And I told her exactly what happened, exactly what he said. She turns to me and is like, so do you want me to cuss him out before you leave or after you leave? I was like, after I leave. I don't know exactly what happened. She obviously waited for me to be gone to talk to him about it, but I am just hoping she is fucking thriving now.
The mini market in my hometown is usually the one that I go to. So I'm looking around and I realized that there's this little girl following me, but it seemed like she was more like keeping an eye on me. Like she would stand like 20 feet behind me, but just like stare at me, you know, peek through the aisles. And she did that for like 10 minutes, but whenever I finally went up to the checkout, she was gone and this woman came up to me. She was like, oh my gosh, have you seen my daughter? She was running around the store. I don't know where she is. So I described the little girl to her that I saw.
Heard a bunch of noises and talking in my stepsister's tent. And I wake up and my boyfriend isn't in the tent. So I'd be very quiet getting out of my tent and I go over to hers and I just listen. And oh bitch, I should have just confronted them because I got my motherfucking feelings hurt. He was telling her how he didn't love me at all and how he only wanted to be with her and how every time that they kissed each other and screwed each other, he felt such a connection between them. So
orange, but nothing rhymes with orange. There's gotta be something that rhymes with orange. Storange, porange. Emily, they have to be actual words. Sporange? No, Emily, that's not a word. Correct. I got it.
Oh, awesome.
Why aren't you girls at school yet?
We're heading to school now, Mom.
Mom, what rhymes with daughters?
Daughters. That should be an easy word for you to rhyme. Right, Mom?
I don't know, I can't think clearly today. I'm so tired.
It's okay.
She always wanted to be at my boyfriend's house with him and his family. Weird, I know. Anyway, so she was always over there with them, and I thought that maybe she was just lonely. Wrong, of course. Now, of course, like any other relationship, mine wasn't perfect, but my boyfriend and I started having more problems than usual when my sister showed up. He was being super weird, and all the signs pointed to him cheating on me. Like for part 2. Part 2, is blood thicker than water? Metaphorically speaking, of course. So like I said, my sister started spending more time at my boyfriend's house. I thought that she never really put any work into my physical appearance. Well, little did I know, the only reason why she would offer to do my hair and makeup at these parties was so that way she could make me look like shit in front of all the boys. So after that, I taught myself how to do my own makeup and do my own hair, like for part 2. Part 2 about why I beat up my best friend. So like I said, I learned how to do my hair and makeup, and she went on vacation for like a month straight. Well, when she came home, she threw another party, and she was like, don't worry, after I'm done getting ready, I'll do your makeup and do your hair. And I was like, no.
Sick or something, because that's literally how it seemed. So I asked her if anything was wrong, and she assured me no, nothing was wrong, and that she just didn't feel like going out to Palo Alto that day. A detail I didn't mention yet is that Amy's ex went to Stanford, and we had plans that day to go to Palo Alto, right? So my theory about why she was acting so moody was that she realized that we might run into her ex, and she was starting to get kind of emotional about it, which I would have completely understood. And I had actually introduced her and her ex, meaning that I had his location.
The summer before our sophomore year, we both got grounded because we were driving my dad's car without our license, and we wrecked it. So we ended up spending all summer together, which was very unusual because it was like her and I were acquaintances living in the same house. Well, over that summer, we got super close, and she ended up turning me into a girly girl. She taught me how to take care of my skin, do my hair, do my makeup, and how to dress. Now, mind you, once we got into high school, she never spoke to me because I wasn't a part of the little clique that she was in. So she was like, yay, you can finally hang out with my friends and I'm super excited. Picked another conversation between Layla and I, like for part 4. Part 4 about how my best friend made my entire school hate me. So like I said, Layla and Ivy talked my boyfriend into breaking up with me the week that I was suspended. They showed him fake text messages between me and some guy that doesn't even exist. And then they also faked a conversation between Layla and I, and it's me saying, OMG, this guy's so hot, I'm gonna leave my boyfriend for him. And I was getting called a cheater, and when I went back to school the next week on Monday, it was terrible. People would whisper and laugh at me when I was walking in the hallway. I would be in the bathroom and there would be girls talking about how weird and disgusting I was.
You know, when I was with my ex, she would always insist on us 3 hanging out. Like, me and her couldn't hang out alone anymore. She'd always want him to come. And her excuse was, oh, because I want to get to know him and I need to make sure I like who you're with. After the first day that she actually met him, I forgot about this. She went and followed his Instagram. And she didn't even tell me that she was going to follow my boyfriend at the time. Like, she just went ahead and followed him. But why did she only like one picture? A picture of him from 2 years ago. Just of him. So I screenshotted it and sent it to her.
Whilst I tell you about the time I nearly got arrested. Did my brows and skincare off camera because it takes fucking ages, but I'm just using this Charlotte Hollywood Flawless. I love this. It gives you such glowy skin. So from the ages of sort of 17 to 19, I was an absolute heathen. I had a lot of stuff going with my family. Like, my dad left my mum and it was like an absolute nightmare. And I just kind of went off the rails a little bit and just did what the fuck I wanted. It was kind of like I was in self-destruct mode. The only things that really mattered to me at that time was making money, going out with my friends, getting pissed, and...
This lady had pass gas. It sounded like a parrot was giving birth to a squirrel. Well, the smell come and it smelled like fresh baby shit. She rolls her window down and starts gagging. I'm trying not to make a scene because I know she's mortified. I'm gagging because she's gagging and the smells got off. We get to the house, pull up. I jump out to help her out. She darts from my car. She can't make it to the house, stops by her bushes and just dumps everything. To this day, she has refused to text me or call me.
Tell me about the worst date you've ever...
I totally forgot about, but one time I was going out to my car and he decides to come out right after me from the gym. And as I'm going out, obviously I go to my car a little bit skeptical because I hadn't noticed him at first until after, and I see him get into his car. So next time at the gym when he came up to me, he decided to mention what car I drive. He was like, oh, you drive the white blank. And at this point, I'm already starting to get really creeped out, so I decide to tell my parents, especially my dad, who started going to the gym with me because I told him that I was just way too scared and
I was super happy about. Well, then fast forward to my birthday. Our families were supposed to meet again, but it didn't end up happening again. And I wasn't really sure if this was the reason why things got weird between him and I. The one night I was over at my friend's house and Jose's on FaceTime with me. And I was talking about how I could pick him up and him and I could hang out. And he literally just didn't even say anything. So I was like, okay, is that a no? So then he was like, I don't know. I might be busy, blah, 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 blah. Like for part 3. Part 3 about
who keeps staring at me. And I'm like brushing it off, thinking that she's just one of those girls who has an RBF. Resting bitch face. So once we were done eating, my dad went to pay. But the pizza place that we were at, they only accepted cash and not card. My dad had to go to the bank, which was like 2 doors down, so it really didn't matter. As soon as he got up and walked out that door, the girl who was staring at me the whole time came straight over and sat down where he was sitting. I'm like, hi. And she just starts going off on me. But not so everybody could hear. She's like, getting beat the fuck up. Like for part 2. Okay, part 2. Okay, so like I said, I walk in and this bitch is getting her shit rocked. Like there were like 5 girls in there beating the shit out of her. All of them just look at me, so I walk out and go back to the classroom. And the one girl went to the hospital and the other girl got suspended. So back to present day. So after school that day, I get a ride with him and his friends to his house. Well, as we're all driving to his house, we realize that his ex-girlfriend's car is right behind us. And it's literally her and all of her friends. And at this point, my boyfriend...
I went out to smoke a fag. Obviously, I wasn't allowed to smoke fags, so I used to go and pretend that I was going to the shop and walk the long way all around the blocks. So I set off on my route. I'm walking, I'm smoking, I've got my AirPods in, the music's on 100% volume. All of a sudden, I feel someone grab me and cover my mouth. At this point, my life flashes before my eyes and I think, yep, I'm getting kidnapped. I'm gonna die. Matter of seconds, I'm gonna be dead. Trying to see who the fuck has literally tried to kidnap me because
They like had them on them. Not my friends, the people that they were with. And like they had just happened to get caught up in this mess. Like it was not them. And then the dudes were like getting locked up. Like everyone was in handcuffs. And the police kept saying like they needed someone 18. And then we were like, what if we get someone 18 on the phone? And then we hung up, called them back. And then the police started talking to my friend like she was 18. I don't know if this is like bad to say online. I don't think they're going to connect anything because they didn't see me. I was at home. Okay, why is this turning out so bad? This looks so weird. Ew, please just ignore my makeup. Most of this is my face getting red. But fast forward, I met this one guy who we're gonna call Jake. And because of how tragic my love life was, I didn't expect us to get into a relationship. But he ended up asking me to be his girlfriend. So of course I said yes. I was super excited that I had a boyfriend. And then he met my family. And my older sister and I were like super close, so I told her all about him. And she just couldn't wait to meet him. Real quick, I just want to give a big shout out to Lumino for sponsoring today's video. Lumino Whitening Kit is one of the best ways to whiten your teeth without paying hundreds of dollars, especially if you have sensitive teeth. This is the next best thing.
And he grabs me. He says that if you run, I will kill you. So I was like, okay, fine. What do you want from me? So he starts putting on lingerie and tells me to also put some on so we can take pictures together. What the actual you know what? So after that, he starts crying and he starts telling me his whole life story and how he's not who I think he is. Turns out that he's 32 and he just goes online pretending that he's 17 years old. So I just try to comfort him, right? It ends up 33%, and my brother flips out like for part 2. Part 2 of my mom sleeping with my history teacher to get me better grades. So like I said, I told my parents that I got a 97, she got a 33. And I was telling them how the handwriting didn't even look like mine and everything. And then my brother starts flipping out. In front of my dad, too. He goes, Mom, are you fucking serious? You couldn't let her try and do this on her own? And I was super confused. Like, I thought that maybe he was talking about my mom paid off the teacher. But then he said, yeah, Dad, if you didn't know, Mom's been fucking our history teacher to get us better G-board. She was like, I found out how I can get some answers. I just feel like I need you guys around me for positive energy. And my family is very, very religious. Like, we don't fuck with that shit. But because my mom felt bad for her, she let her use it in our house. But my mom didn't want my sisters and I around that, so she just sent us to bed. Well, the next morning, I wake up and I ask my mom what happened with the Ouija board situation. My mom just said that it was really scary, because before she thought it was like a load of bullshit, and she said that her and my dad didn't touch the Ouija board, because like I said, they were very religious. My best friend was obsessed with me. And I'm not saying obsessed as in, oh my god, like, you know, she does her hair like me. No, I'm saying in a creepy way. So a little background information, I was 14 and it was the summer before I was going into high school. And I had this best friend who we're gonna call Madison. Now, I met Madison like a month before school ended. She was one of those kids that nobody really liked and nobody wanted to be near.
but we were partnered up in this one class and she's actually really funny. So since summer just started,
but I'm telling this in first person. So I started going to the gym about 2 or 3 years ago now, and I'm not going to give the name of the gym for privacy reasons. So everything was fine for about a year at this gym. I never really had any problems with any of the people there. In fact, I had made some friends and was friends with the manager of the gym. But one day I was finishing my set as one would, and a guy, little background, he looks pretty old, about in his 50s or 60s, and had like gray hair.
Then when I am in the mood, I go into the bathroom to see how I look, just to see if I like, you know, have something on my face or something. So I go into the bathroom and she happens to walk in before me. So I walk into the bathroom and she happens to walk in before me, and I'm just checking myself in the bathroom because, you know, every so often I just go in the bathroom and to see how I look. And she happens to go in before me. She says,
stepdad and my mom. My boyfriend went to the hospital. He had alcohol poisoning. Well, my boyfriend told his mom that it was all my fault and I'm grounded for 6 months. Story time about how my best friend got with my boyfriend. Whenever I was in 6th grade, my mom had put me in this summer camp. And that's where I met my best friend, Jenna. Well, any boys that I liked at summer camp, Jenna would try and go after them. So fast forward, Jenna and I never went to the same school, which was so nice because I could literally tell her about any guy that I liked and she would not know who the hell it was. Okay guys, real quick before we continue. Anyways, I searched around the house to see if he maybe escaped or he was hiding under the beds or something, but he was nowhere to be found. So I asked the neighbors to keep a lookout for him and even put up missing posters everywhere. And when my parents got home, I told them the situation and they were like, oh honey, he probably ran away, but he'll probably be back tonight. Yeah, fast forward 5 hours, he still wasn't home. So my dad was like, go to sleep, he'll be back in the morning. So I went to sleep, or I tried, but then I couldn't
on New Year's Eve. So if you're wondering why I'm breaking up with him, basically, so we've been together for 3 years now. To connect the dots a bit, I'll just, you know, say a bit about me. So my parents are split up. Right now I'm at my mum's, and my mum met my stepdad about 3 years ago.
Since he wasn't really known to be like celibate, it was surprising how low it was, and that's when I knew it was a lie. But yeah, it ended up coming out later that he was lying about it. Obviously she was pissed, but she stayed with him. And here's my thing, I've never had a boyfriend. I've never even almost had a boyfriend, so maybe I'm just being a judgmental bitch. Let me know in the comments if you think that that is breakup worthy, because I would break up with someone over that, just because if you would lie to me over something that fucking stupid, what the hell else are you lying about? Like, you're definitely lying about something.
Talk about this, why I don't speak up for myself, why like I don't talk to anybody in my family about this, why I say nobody would help me, because the person in my family found out and then went to go snitch on me, acting like if I'm talking shit. So yeah, that's why I say like nobody in my family would ever take me in, nobody in my family would ever help me out, because you see what happened, honey? They found out and they went to go snitch because they think that me talking about my family and saying the truth, not name dropping, but still saying.
And every single day he would make a new account. I remember one time he sent me like an invite to his birthday party. Of course I didn't freaking go. He sent me like a really long paragraph one time confessing his love for me. I just blocked it. Not only would he follow me home, not only would he come to the park and stand outside my house, he would also text my social media, spam text me, like just do the most. So then obviously when he found my social media, like I told the teachers once again, and they did nothing because they're useless. He would even text my friend.
Before you speak on the type of person I am. So that's my opinion on my popularity and a little story time of my high school experience. Again, I gotta go. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this answered any questions that you guys had, but peace out. Love you.
Okay, story time, because if I were to have a villain origin story, this would be it. To set the scene, this happened in I think the 3rd or 4th grade. It just like made me so mad that it haunts me to this day. No, wait, scratch that. This was definitely a middle school story. This definitely happened in middle school.
I was talking to Jay in class, and I have been, you know, for the past only 3 days, because I would like to point that out. It's only the 3rd day of school, because me, Jay, and E all have a class together. And so I talked to both of them, but because of the class it's choir, Jay is in my section, so I talk to him the most out of the two, only because it's most convenient. If Eve was in my section, I would talk to her.
Just for a little example, the one time I told her that I thought I was pregnant, and clearly she knew that I was super scared, and I told her I don't want anybody to know, please don't say anything. Yeah, in about 30 minutes, I had like 20 people asking me if I was pregnant, and then somehow my parents found out. She's also the best friend that you keep away from any guy that you like. Well, I have been dating this guy who we're gonna call Jared for 6 months. And obviously now that I have a boyfriend, I've stopped hanging out with her as much. But my whole thing is she would never give me a heads up on plans. She would literally just text me and be like, hey, we're going. And it was my freshman year of high school. And I have been dating this guy for 3 months who we're gonna call Jacob. He was a part of the popular group and was known for cheating on all his past girlfriends. But why would I see that as a red flag? Because I'm fucking dumb. Anyways, of course he was cheating on me too, and people would tell me that. At first I wanted to leave him, but the problem was he came from a super rich family and he was really cute. So in reality, I really only wanted to stay with him so that way he would keep spoiling me with expensive gifts. He would literally buy me anything and everything I wanted.
We'll talk soon. I just gotta see what's going on with her, if she's gonna make it. Make what, bitch? Like what? So, I'm like, hold up. Did he, like, what else did he say? Like, how do you know about my daughter? She also sent me a screenshot of him saying, my baby mom is so obsessed with me. She won't leave me the F alone. She just got me watching my child all the time. I never get a break. She's a deadbeat mom, like all this stuff, and I'm just like baffled. I'm like
waiting on him, like, when are you gonna tell your parents? Funny because I told myself I'm not wearing foundation today, and here I am putting concealer all over my face. But one day we're together in school, randomly out of the blue, his mom texts him. She's like, are you talking to a girl? He's like freaked out because he's like, bro, like this has never happened. She's never asked me any of this. Like, I'm over here still like, is he gonna tell her? Because I think it's about time he tells her, you know? Like, I was kind of just like waiting for this moment. And literally in that moment, he calls her right away and he's like, yeah, I'm talking to a girl. And she's like, send me a picture right now. You guys, quick intermission. I never usually do reverse contour when I do.
Basically just feel sorry for you because you're just a low life. Basically, you ain't got no aspirations. You're just a bum and you always beg her for money. I was like, I'm sorry. I work 2 jobs. That is far from the truth. He was then telling me all of my family business. He was relaying my home problems back to me. That means she was taking, because you just have sex with everyone. I was in disarray. I'm sat there in the back like, this is how someone can. He would always talk about you and I would be confused and I would always ask as well, like why she's still friends with you, because if she doesn't rate you, why do you still be like hang around with me? And I was like, and then he was saying how like she basically
walking in the hallway with my friend, the friend that likes him, and when he saw me, he said hi to me only, didn't even acknowledge her. And he started walking beside us. My friend tried to talk to him, but every time she said something, he would just ignore her, so I had to reply to her. However, whenever I said something, he would laugh and look at me funny. I think my friend noticed this because she said that she had to go back to class.
Basically, she finds a new friend group, and they press me. Yes, I get a little bit scary because it was 3 of them and 1 of me. Yes, my friends were around, but still, you know, arguing by myself. So obviously, I just let her talk, and I'm like, hit first. And obviously, she is not gonna hit first, and she didn't. And I finally catch her when she's by herself, y'all. So I end up forgiving her, but then me and
my mom is sitting there waiting for me with an email from Julia's mom pulled up about my actions. And of course, like the second I get home, I'm like, Mom, please, that wasn't me. Like, I promise. I'm trying to tell her the full story. I'm like, that wasn't me. Like, please. And I don't know if my mom like believed me or her or what. She was like just mad that another mom emailed her about me, and that's why I got in trouble. Like, I still got in trouble for nothing. Like, hello? And that girl like never cared to hear me out. Like, we just beefed for the rest of middle school because I would always.
I was super confused. And of course, out of everyone, she chose that one person. But I'm actually so glad it wasn't actually her. That's my little story time. Bye.
I think fake police came to my house and tried to do one of those scams on me, but they didn't succeed because I'm a bit too sharp. This was like a year and a half ago. 2 policemen came to knock on my front door. I didn't open the door, I just looked through the peephole. They were holding a tablet. One of them was like on the tablet, the other one was like looking into
like a really fake friend. When they texted that name, I was like, what the? Why is this person texting me right now? Like, I have not talked to this person in like so long. So obviously I want to know why they're texting me. So I was like, what's up? It's like 2 a.m. in Oklahoma because it's 2 hours ahead from Washington. So I'm kind of getting anxious and I don't know why, but I was like, why is she calling me? And how does she get my number? So I call the number back and they answer and they don't talk. And I'm like, hello? And someone
unadds me. And I spend the next 3 days, I kid you not, guys, just crying because I'm like, if I tell my mom, what if she doesn't believe me? My boyfriend at the time, he knew about it, and he was like, obviously that's not you, because I showed him the picture. My best friend, I showed her the picture, she's like, obviously that's not you. Like, people who know me know that's not me. It's not even something I would do. Of course, no shame to anyone who does. It's just personally, I've never been that type of person. And I couldn't do anything because I don't know who the Snapchat account belonged to. I didn't know who the guy was who reached out to me.
To go return it to him and ask him not to do that anymore. I will say a little bit more about the person that he actually unalived. As we know, he called the pizza guy. The story goes, he was apparently having some sort of break again. Somehow, we don't know, he got access to a car, which is weird because he's never owned a car, but he was driving one, speeding like crazy. I believe it ended up in some sort of police chase. He causes an accident and...
Because it was very like the down low. And so she was going on a date with him, and of course I was jealous because I liked him too. And she was like, I'm really scared to like go by myself. Like, what if you just came along and like it wasn't like a third wheel, it was kind of just like a 3 friends hanging out, because she didn't know I liked him or anything. So I was like, okay, like, yeah, sure, I'll come along with you on this date to give you like some support. And she was like, okay, thank you so much. Anyway, so I went and I literally did everything I could to make her look bad so that
house and trying to get back my clothes because I don't know what to do at this point. If you guys want to hear all the story times, which I will be posting anyways, keep following and tagging along. So yeah, let me know what I should do because I really want my clothes back. And yeah, stay tuned. Love you guys.
Get ready with me to go catch my boyfriend cheating on me. I was getting ready and I was like, oh, I might as well film this so that I don't like cry, but I want to do a story time on what the situation is. So one thing about me is I'm really close with my family, like super, super close.
Know anything on the test. And I studied the night before for literally 4 hours straight. So I decided to copy off the girl next to me. Well, a few days later, we get our test back. And I'm looking at mine and I got a 97%. And then I look over to the girl next to me. She got a 33%. And then I started going through the tests. None of the essay questions look like my handwriting. But I didn't say anything because I wanted that A. Well, the one night I'm sitting down with my family having dinner. And I told them that I copied off the girl next to me. And how I got a 97% and she got a...
In the rules, you can't wear makeup. And all I wear is like moisturizer and whatever. So my skin looks glowy. My mom will always stop me in the morning and will be like, are you wearing makeup? Because my skin is so glowy. Like, I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but that's just how it is. So it's lunchtime and I can't stop thinking about it, and obviously I'm not going to take the detention, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. I'm someone who hates confrontation, so I didn't really want to go and talk to her about it, but I talked to my friends and they're like, yeah, you can't do that, you need to go tell.
Because one of them ate the other one. So at this point I'm having like a mental fucking breakdown, and I'm moving all the furniture in the living room and everything like that. And we lift up the couch and we see her cat bolt out from under the couch. After that, I look under the couch and my bird is literally torn into pieces under the fucking couch. A few days later, she texted me and she was like, hey, like, I feel so bad. Like, let me buy you a new bird and a new tarantula. And to this day, 2 years later, I still don't know what happened to them. Storytime weird and how nobody liked me. One day she randomly started being nice to me. She sat with me at lunch and her water bottle was empty. And she asked if I needed mine filled up too. Stupidly, I said yes. Well, she ended up putting drugs in my water bottle. After like 20 minutes, I started feeling sick, so I went to the bathroom. And I was kneeling over the toilet when everything went black. Well, when I didn't come back from the bathroom, my teacher got worried, so she sent security looking for me. They were banging on my stall. Obviously, I was fucking unconscious, so I didn't answer.
But when you kind of like grow up around, even in elementary, the girls getting boyfriends and doing all of that, like, it just like makes you feel so behind.
when you're in elementary and you're not behind. I've been told by so many people that they cannot see me in a relationship, which makes me believe that I'm literally gonna be the single cat lady who is allergic to cats. And the people that tell me
if I should do more story times, because me and my friend have a really good one. Bye, guys.
I was on FaceTime with one of my guy friends and we got to talking about like dating and relationships, and he goes, have you ever heard of the pizza analogy? I'm like, no, what is that? Mind you, this is my crazy ass homeboy, so I don't know if this is exactly how it goes, but it makes sense. So pretty much there's one woman, she's in her house and she's stocked up on food.
Owning, and the security guards look under the car, and literally one of the guys who was following us is literally laying under our cars with a knife. And as soon as that happened, there was literally a van parked right across from our car. The van drove away really fast, but the police ended up catching up to it, and they found like 8 girls in that van. Story time. I'm in a long distance relationship and I don't know if I should break up with this boy or not. So a little background information. Him and I were best friends for almost a month before we started dating. And literally as soon as we started dating, he started asking
on the list because I'm currently really stuck for ideas. Love you all. Bye.
Get ready with me while I tell you about how my ex-best friend catfished me online and tried to get nudes from me. I already talked about her in multiple Get Ready With Me's, but people wanted more stories, so I thought I would just talk about this one too. For context, I used to have a best friend who basically hated me. Like, she was just a really bad friend. She would always get mad when people complimented me. She would start talking to every guy that I liked.
Could never be like red, pink, like, and like boys would have to keep their beards like maintained. They couldn't grow their hair past like one of our friends actually like got told that he needed to cut his hair because it was too long. I feel like that's a little ridiculous. Like, I get looking clean, but it's like everybody's their own person. Like, I feel like you should never tell anyone what to do with their hair
style.
Yeah.
You couldn't have any piercings. Like, you could have ear piercings, but nothing else. Like, guys also couldn't have ear piercings.
Friend. But clearly I was oblivious. Anyways. So that same night, I wake up in the middle of the night and she's on the phone with someone. And it sounded exactly like my boyfriend. So I asked her who it was, but she couldn't give me an answer, like for part 2. Part 2 found my boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend. So she told me not to worry about it, and I was like, alright, whatever. So the next day, my boyfriend shows up at my house asking to get back together. Not a surprise, by the way. And of course I said, okay, we can be back together, blah, blah, blah. So that night while I'm in my room, my best friend's on the phone.
I pretend I don't know who he is. I go, what? Who, like, do I know you? And he goes, don't act stupid. I saw you last week, da 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 da. And I was like, no, I literally don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And he goes, yeah, you're Kelsey, you're from Missouri, you're da 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 da. And I was like, oh, you know my sister. He's like, what? Like, da da da. I go, yeah. I pull up my second phone, go through my second Instagram to my main Instagram, and I go, her? And he goes, oh yeah. And then I was like, yeah, like, that's my sister. Like, not to be confused with me.
2020, more people were doing POVs. It became kind of a trend and kind of popular, whatever. And I started getting comments being like, hey, like, you're literally copying this girl's videos. And I was like, okay, whatever, like, that's weird. Like, I wasn't copying anyone's videos. Or I would get comments like, hey, this girl's content is, like, really similar to yours. And then people would tag her, but I couldn't click on the tag. And at the time, I was like, whatever, like, I don't know.
Because my philosophy as a tall girl is like, if his height starts with a 5, that's a friend. However, I mean, like, I can look past it. If I like a guy enough, I can actually look past anything. So I was like, you know what, it's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker. Like, I'm just not going to mention it. Honestly, wasn't that bothered by it, but he seemed to be really bothered by it because as soon as we sit down, he was like, you didn't tell me you were, like, really fucking tall. And I was like, well, you know, I am wearing heels. I'm on the taller side, but I'm wearing heels. And he's like, why are you wearing heels? Like, that's just really extra. We're just getting dinner. Well, babe, I'm
just texting Lucy on Christmas, saying that he misses her and he would do anything to get back together with her. I screenshot it and I show it to Robert and he doesn't say anything. He literally just straight up ignores me. So obviously we broke up. He got a new girlfriend and she would literally call me every name under the sun. So I gave her a little reminder that he's never going to get over Lucy. And I started dating Robert's best friend and he is so loyal and I love him so much. Story time about how my crazy ass cousin broke up my family. So a little background information. My cousin Brandy has been married to her 4 months. And he didn't want to date me. I didn't know that until one of his friends said, oh yeah, he's just using you to do stuff. And I'm surprised he let it drag on for 4 months because I didn't do anything with him. But now looking back at it, he would always ask me to come over when his parents weren't home. So anyways, I really liked him. He broke my heart, and yeah. So the next day I had school, and I had a class with him. And all of his friends were in that. He like was talking to a girl at the same time, but like we were never technically talking. It's just I made it so obvious that I liked him, and he never told me that he was like talking to this other girl, right? And so obviously I was kind of mad, but like I couldn't do anything because we weren't technically talking. But still, I was just like, you could have told me. And so I unadded him after like 2 days, right? And then I think he doesn't like me because like why would he? He chose another girl over me, right? And so then a couple months later, he adds me on Snap again, or like he tries again, because I don't think I blocked him. I just unadded him, and he like writes a whole apology. But I'm sorry, like after
I was saying, this ended up causing a huge fight between my boyfriend and I. Well, the night before my birthday, my boyfriend and I were going back and forth arguing, and around 12 a.m. on my birthday, I forced myself to fall asleep, and at around 1 a.m. I woke up to 20 Snapchat notifications, all from my boyfriend. And when I opened them, I saw the worst thing ever. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how my best friend slept with my boyfriend on my birthday. So like I said, I woke up at around 1 a.m. to 20 Snapchat notifications from my boyfriend. And
Belle, like, you know, it wasn't mean. And we got to Lily. I don't even remember what they called her, but she ended up getting her feelings hurt and started like shouting and making it a bigger deal. We were doing this discussion in the kitchen, and so I looked around and there was a butter knife on the table, and I said, why don't we do a talking butter knife? So basically, if you were holding the butter knife, you could talk and nobody else could because everyone was shouting
it was my best friend. I didn't think she would lie about that. I believed her and I stopped talking to him. Well, that weekend I went over her house. And when I walked in her room, she goes, oh, say hi. And who else is on the phone but the boy she told me not to talk to? So after they got off the phone, I was like, let me guess, you told me to stop talking to him because you liked him. And she goes, yeah, I just knew that if I told you I liked him, you wouldn't stop talking to him. So that night we went to a party and he was there. And things started.
Polish women. Woman. Yeah? My ex was a dark-skinned black Nigerian man with dreads. We had the same flight back home. What was you going to do with me when we land back? Was you just going to toss me aside and fucking leg it? Or was you going to pull up to this girl and be like, oh yeah, this is my cousin and this is my cousin? Who's the cousin? Me or her? Because I will box you and she looks like a dickhead.
And I was, really confused. I was like, do I know what? So then she just tells me right then and there what happened at that party that he went to and why he wasn't answering me. I thought it was a joke at first. I was like, no, like seriously, like surely you're lying. And she was like, I'm not lying. I'm not.
I think a responsible and mature coach and a good adult that is in that kind of position would notice, okay, listen, this girl's really not doing great in this sport. Let me pull her out, or maybe put her into the other gym class where I think they were like rock climbing or like rollerblading. They were doing something that was way more up my alley. To this day, this was at this point almost like 10 years ago, it still angers me how this teacher handled this, because how are you as a grown adult a mean girl? And then literally after this gym class, this teacher like hated me. She would just like give me like these nasty looks. She would hype up the boy.
Sultry with like a bronzy pinkish color. I be putting too much. My hand too heavy. Tiniest brown eyeliner in the corner. Watch this. My problem is that I love being love bombed, but then once you do it, it's like way too much. Do you want to see my dog? I think I need therapy. This is my favorite lip combo right now. It's gonna make every boy snap his neck back at you. And girl, take a love potion. NYX lip liner shade Sandstorm, and then you need these Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek in shade Enigma.
Friendships, boyfriends, school, anything like that, it was always, in the past she has broken up me and my ex-boyfriend out of a whole lie, and it was just a really big situation. I mean, in the end we did break up, and throughout that period of time she hated him. She didn't like me being with him. She would get upset if I hung out with him, even though I spent literally every single weekend with her. She just broke us up because she didn't want us together. So that should give you a little bit of background on this situation. So this starts off and I'm sitting in
used me to get with my best friend. Like I said, they started dating. The boy that I was talking to at the pool, we're gonna call him Luke. Well, Luke's best friend was dating my best friend. Fast forward 2 months, Luke's saying how he wants to date me and stuff like that, but it's not the right time. And every time that I would ask Luke to hang out, he would only hang out if my best friend was there. Red motherfucking flag alert, bitch. Anyways, I didn't see that red flag. So Luke and his best friend go to this party. And apparently I was told that there was this girl there that was really hot. And Luke was saying to his best
her the most. Like, logic, come on. Randomly, whenever we were going over our music, Jaden was like, okay, I'll call you, like, later. Like, he said he was gonna call me later, like, after school. And I was just, like, telling him, like, oh, well, what time do you get off of work? Da-da-da-da, like, stuff like that. But he wasn't gonna be able to call me anyway, because whenever he got off of work, I probably would have been on the phone with my boyfriend, because it was kind of late when he said he was gonna call me. But then E jumps in and is like, you're so fake, to Jay. And I'm just like...
his grade, but he was like, he's kind of younger than him, but they're still friends. This guy's from church, by the way. And so, like, one Sunday after church, my brother was like, oh yeah, like, this guy, Rafe, I guess, I don't know. So this guy, Rafe, still, like, likes you a lot. And I was like, no way he still likes me. Like, he probably just still thinks I'm pretty and doesn't have anyone else, right? And so then my brother keeps saying it, like, a couple weeks in a row, like, bro, he likes you. Like, he actually genuinely likes you. And so I was like, that's kind of funny. And then he also said that, he was like, this other guy also thinks you're hot, though. But, like, he can't say anything in front of Rafe, because, like, Rafe...
So I had to take matters into my own hands. So a little background information, my best friend Ellie had just passed away in a car crash, and for some reason these two girls, Jackie and Jayla, decided that they were going to talk shit on her all the time for no reason. Like, they had some weird, unhealthy obsession with her for no reason. Like, the one time they literally put me in a group chat just so that way I could see them talking shit about her. So I told my best friends Christy and Megan about it, and we decided to come up with a plan to jump them. So in the morning and after school, Jayla and Jackie would walk by my house to get to theirs.